Hey guys, welcome everyone to the webinar. We definitely had a lot of people sign up today, so it's absolutely fantastic. I think we had was like 150 people sign up, so it's definitely a big group this time around. So thank you very much for signing up. I'm just letting a few more people join because I know it takes a little bit of time, and I'll get started in a second. All right, so let me share my screen. For those of you that don't know, we are also streaming live on YouTube. Right. So if you guys, first of all, if you want the recordings, let me actually show you this here. Go to youtube.com. If you want the recording of this lecture, or if you want, well, I think you should also subscribe to us on YouTube, because we do these types of things pretty often, where we have like live webinars. We'll have this for machine learning course. We have this for this course. We also send out a lot of free stuff through YouTube as well. So definitely a good idea for you guys to subscribe. But as you can see, we're currently live on YouTube right here. This is a couple seconds ago, actually. And then once this is done, once we're done this webinar, this is actually going to turn into a recording, right? So you guys can actually go there. You'll get access to all our slides. You'll be able to rewatch things if you want to do that, and all that sort of thing. So make sure you go search for Lumiwealth on YouTube. Go in there, make sure you subscribe, right? Turn on your notifications as well. So that way you get all the latest stuff that comes out, right? Cool, awesome. So here's our agenda for today. First thing I want to know is I want to kind of get to know who is on this call, right? I want to get to know you guys a little bit so we can kind of make this meeting a little bit more tailored to you, right? Then I'm going to introduce kind of myself and the company. I'm going to show you about our courses and kind of like pricing and things like that. A little bit of introduction to what Lumiwealth is and what we do. Then we're going to go into algorithmic trading. We're going to talk about the theory behind it, and then we're going to get into the code. I'm going to show you some nice demos of these trading bots actually working, right? So we're going to back test some trading bots. We're going to show them actually working live, so you can see kind of the things that you can build after going through this course, right? Okay, so first of all, just to get to know some of you guys on this call, I always love making these things very interactive. It's great to get to know you guys and whatnot. So if you can, please type this into the chat. And then also throughout the class, I'm also going to be looking at our chat as well, just to see what you guys are saying. So if you could put into chat, what is your occupation? I know a lot of people, they work in software. Some people work as engineers. Some people work in finance. If you guys could type that in, what your occupation is. If you know how to program or not, right? Let me change that. If you guys know how to program or not, type in P if you know how to program. Type in N if you do not know how to program. So we got a finance, awesome. So we got someone in finance, that's great. And you do not know how to program, great. How much and then also type in how much investment experience you have. So information security officer, you program in 10 years. So you used to be a financial advisor before. Oh, that's very cool. Awesome. Cool. Great. So it sounds like you guys, computer scientists, 6 years of investment experience, IT governance, used to be technical many years ago. So we have a decent amount of programmers here, computer scientists, and so I'm just looking here. So we got a mix. We got some people that know how to code, some people that don't know how to code. It seems like you guys have some pretty good financial background, which is great. Construction, no, 3 years investment, yeah. Okay, and so okay, so I think we're about half and half programmers and not programmers, which is actually very similar to our classes, by the way. There's a lot of people that go through that haven't coded before. There's a lot of people that have, and it seems like you guys are pretty well versed in the finance world, which I think is great. Technical product manager, very cool. I used to actually do that too. I used to be a product manager, a technical product manager specifically, so like actually writing code. So very cool, guys. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So I think I got a better idea of who's on the call today. 50-50 programmers. A lot of you guys seem to have quite a bit of experience in finance, so I think that's great. Cool. And a lot of people that work in like technical fields, which is awesome too. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about myself, what my background is and that sort of thing. So, I've been programming computers for like over 20 years now. It's been a very long time. I used to run software teams a lot of times on financial projects, right? So Most recently, actually worked on Wall Street at several larger firms. I worked at a company called Greystone, which is an online lender. These guys, we designed, so I was actually the technical product manager there. There's my role. I was like, basically ran the team. And our team, we actually built out a piece of software. I think today has probably done around $10 billion in loans. So have a little bit of experience in building those like larger scale projects. After that, also worked at a company called Voyager. I think today was a Coinbase IPO, or was it yesterday? Coinbase competitor, right? We are competing against Coinbase. That company ended up being quite large. I was employee number 5 there, helped build everything from scratch. And I think the company is worth, last time I checked, $5 or $6 billion. So that's pretty cool. That was definitely a very cool company and cool project to be part of. So it's kind of my background. I also have a master's in finance, if that matters to you guys. So definitely have a lot of that finance experience through Wall Street and working in tech specifically, and have a lot of programming experience as well. So that's kind of me. What is Lumiwealth? So Lumiwealth is a company that we started. I'm the CEO of Lumiwealth, by the way. We started this company about 2 years ago. And it really, the main purpose of Lumiwealth is to help everyday people have better investment returns, right? Something I really hated when I used to work on Wall Street was, people would have access to types of investments that other people didn't have access to, right? So these like billionaires that we knew quite a bit of them going through lending. We did commercial lending, so it was like we dealt with like very, very high net worth people. The types of investments that these guys had were things that ordinary people couldn't get, and I found that very frustrating. Even me working there, it was very hard for me to get those 20-30% a year projects. So I found that very frustrating, and I think also just getting to know like my friends and that sort of thing, and getting to know people around the city. I think there's major gaps here between what these very wealthy people have in terms of investment returns and even education and knowledge in this and tooling in this, right? And what everyday people have. And Lumiwealth really is about bridging that gap. I strongly believe in a world where if everyone in the world has high investment returns, that the whole world is just going to be running a lot better, right? And I don't believe in that philosophy of like there's only a certain amount of investments that have high returns. I believe that we can all have very high returning investments in the long run. All it means is that we're working on things as a society that other people actually really want, right? So we're building things that actually really matter, and that's what the whole crux behind Lumiwealth was about. How we're doing with that, the way that we're tackling that problem and that vision is we do 2 things. We do education, right? So we teach people how to use technology to juice their investment returns, to make better decisions on investing, and on how to actually build robots that will invest for them automatically, right? So of course, computers are a lot better at a lot of things. Investing is one of those as well. It's not an outlier at all. And then, we're also working on technology, and we're not quite there yet, but pretty soon we'll be releasing our own kind of online cloud platform where you guys will be able to pick from different algorithms. You'll be able to design your own algorithms, test them online, and kind of, building out this technology to invest at scale so we can have a lot of people involved. Kind of like call it democratizing hedge funds. I mean, it's kind of what we're trying to do with that product. All right. So you guys came here most likely because you're interested in our algorithmic trading course. This is definitely our best-selling product. I can tell you that much. There's a lot of interest in this, and our classes fill up very quickly. But to tell you a little bit about the course, basically, when you go into this course, there's a mix of people. There's some people that know how to code, and there's some people that don't. Right, so kind of like you guys. For the people that know how to code, the first, let's say week or 2 is maybe a little slow, but then it speeds up really quickly after that. For those of you that don't know how to code, we also give you a lot of supplementary things for you guys to get started and get moving on this course as well. So we give you a lot of support and make sure that even if you don't know how to code, you can get through this, right? We have 3 different plans. We have our self-directed plan, which is really, you get access to our past videos, our pre-recorded videos, and you get to just watch those and you go through everything. There's projects, there's assignments, and you'll be able to go through all that. Although I will tell you that our best-selling plan by far is our live class plan. And this live class plan, imagine, is basically like this kind of Zoom type interaction, except you guys will have your cameras on, or you'll have your mics on, and it's very, very interactive, right? So, you know, there will be a lecture going on. This class is taught by myself, right? We have other classes taught by other instructors, but this class is taught by myself. So I'll be going through, and I'll be showing you, you know, the kind of the introduction to coding. I'll show you how to build, how to do research around the finance topics, right? So how do you actually use data science to research different financial strategies and different things that you can use to make money. And then the actual building of the trading bot, back testing your strategies, and then actually building the trading bot. So we'll walk through that entire thing together, and we'll do it as a live class, so that if you have any questions throughout, you can ask questions. You get to know other people in the class as well. So it's very collaborative. People share their projects with others. So you get to see what other people are building. You get to get feedback on something that you're building. So it's really, really interactive, right? You know, what else? You know, you get, when you submit your assignments, I'll sit down and actually go through those with you. We can get on one-on-one calls. There's a lot to it. And really, if I find that whenever people go through a live class, they really tend to learn quite well going through this stuff. So definitely our best seller, and definitely the thing that most people are interested in. We also have a project help and tutoring plan. So each of these plans, by the way, they include everything else in the one before. So project help and tutoring includes everything in the live classes plan, plus you get a lot of additional one-on-one time. We could actually even get software engineers to help build out your algorithm for you, right? So this is really, we spend a lot of time with you, basically holding your hand and making sure that what you want to get out of this course, you make sure that you accomplish that, right? Whether that means jumping on a call with you one-on-one and walking through assignments together, or helping you with your specific project that you're working on, getting a lot of time outside of the classes. You get access to the classes as well, but on top of that, you also get this extra one-on-one time. And sometimes we'll even get our software engineers involved to just help build out some things for you, just to really make sure that you can get these things done, and get it done well and get it done quickly, right? So these are our pricings. Our self-direct class is $650 approximately. Again, you get access to our video library. It keeps growing. So you get access to basically all of our past recordings. You don't get access to future recordings, you get access to past recordings. You get access to our code. You get access to our community, all that kind of stuff, right? Our live classes, this is the live over Zoom, where you get to get a lot of feedback from the instructor. You get to work collaboratively with other people in the class. You know, you get to present your projects. You get to see other people's projects. So it's really collaborative. It's really interactive, and you get to know. It really helps you get through the materials really well. You know, we'll also jump on a call with you and help you out one-on-one if you need to. There's a lot of times we'll do that. And again, the project help is you know, all of that, plus we'll spend a lot of time with you on the phones with our developers, making sure that you really get this project done, that you get like a really cool algorithm at the end that's working, and that's you know, hopefully profitable based on your strategies. But we have a lot of other ones that are already profitable, so you could use ours, but hopefully we can get you to build an algorithm that is like really doing some great things for you. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So scrolling down a little bit, this is our course curriculum. I kind of alluded to this before. It's 3 parts, right? Part 1 is getting the fundamentals down, right? So if you don't know how to code, we'll teach you that in this section. We'll teach you about pandas, which is basically data science, and how to basically start using a Python code to do data science, right? And then we'll specifically teach you how to apply that to the finance world, right? That's kind of getting the fundamentals down, right? Part 2, and by the way, there's a bunch of assignments here after each class, right? So kind of just solidify your knowledge. So all those assignments to go through. Part 2 is really ramping up the finance side of things. So it's teaching you how to do the research. How do you find good investment strategies? You know, let's learn how to do the research. Let's learn how to download data. Let's learn how to go through that data and analyze it. Let's teach you how to analyze your investments and if they're doing well or not. So using metrics like compound annual growth rate, standard deviation or volatility, max drawdown, Sharpe ratios. so you can actually do the analysis and see how your strategy is working. And then that leads into back testing. So tell me, show of hands here or through the chat, who here knows what back testing is, right? So back testing is it's a very important thing, but I'd love to know. I'd love to know if you guys actually have you know, researched this a little bit, and if you guys know what back testing is all about. So yeah, so you can just type in the chat, yes or no, or yes, or whatever you want to type in there. But to explain it, yes. So, okay, so we got one yes at least. Yes, not really. Okay, I've back tested on TradeStation. Yeah, a lot of people use TradeStation or NinjaTrader. You know, that's pretty common stuff. What we do, by the way, is a lot more than what TradeStation can do. The code they can build with us is a lot more customizable, right? 4T MT4 EAs. Okay, I'm not sure what that means. I'm sorry. Ash Tap, sorry. But yeah, great. So it sounds like you guys. So it sounds like most of you guys know what back testing is. But to explain it again, for those of you that don't know, so back testing is really important, right? There's a lot of these people, and I get these questions sometimes of like, should I learn how to trade first before taking this class? The answer is no, because the thing is that a lot of people go and they'll learn how to trade, and they'll make these like very simple mistakes. Like really, it's kind of crazy. You know, people just like over leveraging, for example, right? Or just, you know, not diversifying well. You know, we'll show you how that, like what that actually works like and what the results of that are. I've back test MetaTrader 4. Okay, expert advisor. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Right. Yeah. MetaTrader is also another popular one. So yeah, so basically what backtesting is all about is it's saying if I had a specific strategy over a 10 or 20 or 30-year period, how would that have worked out? Would I have made money? Would I have lost money? What would my risk profile be like? And really backtesting is very important for you to know, is this a good strategy that you're doing or not? It answers that question, right? So really, before any of these, before any time that you're you're going ahead with a trading strategy, I'd highly recommend that you backtest it and find out how it would have done over a period of time. All right. So yeah, so that's so we'll teach you in this second section basically how to do all this research, and then how to actually backtest a lot of this stuff using your own code, so that you can figure out, is this a good investment decision or not? And there's the entire project. The second part is actually a project specifically dedicated to that. All right, it's teaching you how to do that. Okay. Part 3 is all about actually building out this bot itself, right? So that's the main project throughout part 3. And it's all about, you know, how do we build an actual trading bot that will automatically buy and sell stocks, bonds, options. We're adding an option functionality as well. Crypto is another thing that we're adding in as well. So being able to trade all these different types of things automatically, right, is what you'll be able to do by the end of part 3, right? So really 3 parts: fundamentals, then teaching you how to use data science to do the research, and how to actually backtest your strategies and see if they're something that makes sense for you to be investing in. And then part 3 is actually building out that robot that will actually trade for you automatically, right? Hey, I got a question here. Sweet, awesome, thank you. Yeah, so and the thing is too is again, you guys are saying, you know, NinjaTrader, MetaTrader, all those types of things, things that you can build with Python code is actually quite a bit more complex, right? So not only are you going to be able to do all that typical backtesting stuff, but you'll be able to use things like machine learning. You'll be able to use like open source libraries. You'll be able to host this on your laptop or on your own servers. So kind of save you trading fees. It's a lot more flexible what you can do with Python, and because it's a lot more flexible, also a lot more opportunities to make money. All right. So that's what we're all about. There's 2 live sessions coming up soon. So the next live session, I believe, is closing actually in a week. So coming up very soon. We already have a decent amount of people in this class. So hopefully it doesn't fill up by the time that you guys get in there. So if you do want a seat, make sure you save your seat, because We don't want this to be a huge class. We try to keep our class sizes small, and registration is closing in about a week. So yeah, so this class, May class, starts on May 5th. It's basically every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time or 5 p.m. Pacific, right? And it's about an hour and a half per week live over Zoom. And we recommend they put in about 8 to 12 hours per week of work for you to really get the most out of the course, right? So again, so that starts May 5th. It's every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Then we also have another one starting in June. This one starts June 24th. And it's every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So the May one is every Wednesday. The June one is every Thursday. They're both at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We're also thinking about potentially making weekend classes. So if that's something you guys are interested in, please send me a message, send me an email, or there's feedback at the end of this class or at the end of this lecture. If you could kind of let us know if this is something you'd be interested in, because sometimes it interferes with people's schedules. So we've been strongly considering adding in a weekend class as well. Okay, again, so we talked about this briefly before when we went through your curriculum, but really you're going to come out of this class with 2 projects. The one project is going to be you analyzing some investment strategies. So it's you being able to download this data, analyze it, and come up with saying and back test it, and come up with trying to figure out is this a good investment strategy or not, right? So that's the project 1, is analyzing your investment strategies. Project 2 is actually building out this live trading robot, right? So having a live robot that's actually trading for you and making you money in the background that's our project number 2, and that's in the last 4 weeks of the class, right? Okay, here's a little bit of information about myself. By the way, if you guys want to get to this page, let me show you how to get to it. You go to lumiwealth.com, right? And then on this page, if you scroll down, we have this course right here is the one that we're talking about. We also have a machine learning course, and we also can do development and consulting for you if that's something you're interested in. But here we're talking about this course. So you basically click on this button and it'll take you to the same page here that I'm taking you through as well, right? Okay. So yeah, so that's it. We have some information about myself, and then also we have a couple testimonials in here. We're going to be adding a bunch more in soon. And this is basically talking about each individual student and kind of like what they got out of it. I could tell you a game started off with us. He didn't know how to code at the beginning. We taught him how to code, and he actually ended up building out a bot that's I need to check up with him, but last time I checked was making him a pretty good amount of money and had like really good hit rates. Renee came in, he knew a little bit of coding and he was able to build out some cool stuff. And then Sintayan is someone who actually was a very, very good coder, joined us, and he's actually still on our message boards, by the way. If you go on our message boards, right there, Sintayan, he built out some really cool stuff. I always love watching his video review because the stuff that he's built is quite incredible. So we have a mix here of all the different reviews, from people that don't know how to code at all when they got started, to someone who codes professionally but wasn't like great at like data science or Python, to someone who really was an expert coder and was able to really go far after taking our course. So a little bit of reviews there for you guys, right? Also, if you guys want, you could book a call. You could speak with one of our reps, and they can walk you through any other questions that you might have after this, and get you started and get you all set up, right? Cool. Okay. So that's everything there. Any questions around all of that we just went through about the course and kind of what we teach throughout the class? Again, you guys feel free to, you could either type in the QA or you could type in the chat throughout, and I'll be answering your questions. So let me know if you have any other questions around that. Right. Okay, so that's describing our course. So again, our last course sold out, so don't wait until the last minute. These things fill up really fast. I know for the May session, we already have quite a few people in it. So make sure that you sign up so you can reserve your spot. So again, we don't want to have huge classes. Huge classes kind of is a disservice to everybody. So we want to keep our class sizes small so that you guys get a lot of feedback. Can you show some code and your trading robot? Yes, I'm going to be showing you that. In a few minutes, I will be showing you the code and the trading robot very shortly. I just want to walk through kind of the introductory stuff here. I said this before, follow us on YouTube. Lumiwealth is our YouTube channel. Make sure you go there, subscribe. Our Discord channel is also very lively. A lot of people go in here, as I said. This is a great way to get to know existing students. It's a great way to be just part of the community and get to know others. I know there's a lot of people in this sort of in our Discord, and it's gone quite active, so it's great. And then also, as a quick thing, there's going to be a survey at the end of the webinar, so make sure that you fill out that survey so we can make these things better and better for you guys. All right. Okay, cool. So let's jump into it. You want to see a demo? You want to see the code? Let's get into that sort of thing. So let's talk about, first of all, what algorithmic trading is, and kind of get you guys the background knowledge there, right? So what algorithmic trading is basically it's using software to analyze data and make trades, right? And you know, why do we care? Why does that matter, right? I mean, first of all, software is just kicking butt everywhere in the world, and almost every single aspect of business. You know what I mean? It was very hard to see any business that hasn't been affected by software. Finance is just the same. Software really adds a lot of efficiency and allows you to make smarter decisions much faster, right? And you can see the results, right? You can see results. So some of the world's most successful hedge funds, Renaissance Technologies, these guys manage $110 billion in assets. It's a ton of money. They are really, really big proponents. There's actually a great book about this. It's called The Man Who Solved the Market. They're huge proponents of this sort of technologically based trading. These guys make a killing. They make 39% return per year on average, right? And that's uncorrelated with the stock market with very low risk. It's like a bad year for them is making like 20%, you know? And a good year, for example, last year they made 80%, right, in their medallion fund. So these guys are just mopping up the floor. They're making a killing. So and just to give you guys an idea, if for those of you that like don't, you know, for those of you that don't fully understand compounding and how important, how big of a deal this is, 39% on average, and they've been doing this for like 30 years plus. If you put in $1 with them, it would have turned into $24,000 after 30 years. So imagine you put in $1,000 would have turned into 24 million. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's the amount of money these guys are making is absolutely ridiculous. It's a big reason why they're one of the most successful hedge funds in the world. And actually, their medallion fund, they even closed off to outside investors. They don't even allow anyone outside the company to invest in it. So it's like a major perk of like working there is being able to invest in that fund. And so that's Renaissance, but they're not the only ones, right? There's a lot of other companies doing very similar things. Two Sigma is another one, same sort of thing. They're very much based on algorithms. They manage $60 billion in assets. I think they've doubled the S&P 500 over the past couple of years with low risk. Citadel, same thing. You know, they use technology. They get very, very good returns, $32 billion. By the way, these numbers are probably a little dated at this point, guys. I think each one of these guys has a lot more than this by this point. Bridgewater is another big one, $140 billion in assets last time I checked. And then D.E. Shaw, same sort of thing, $50 billion in assets. These guys are all making incredible returns, and they're all managing a lot of money. And there's a good reason for that. People give them the money because they're making good returns at low risks. By the way, D.E. Shaw, if you guys aren't familiar with this is the company that Jeff Bezos used to work at. So before Jeff Bezos started Amazon, he started at D.E. Shaw, and he was actually helping build out these types of algorithms. Right? Okay. And of course, these types of companies making this much money, their salaries tend to be quite high. So if you're to work at one of these companies, I think it's $350,000 base, but then your bonus could like easily throw you over $1 million your first year being there, right? So they definitely pay quite well. And then also, you know, some people choose to have trading alerts as opposed to actually having the algorithm automatically trade for them. There's advantages to each one. Bridgewater, for example, is one of those. They don't have the algorithm trade for them. They just have the algorithms tell them what they should be doing, right? So you can do that, both types of things with algo trading. It could be automatically buying it for you, or it could just be saying, I think you should buy this, right? Okay, this is the returns that we've made over the last year, right? As you can see, this is actually just one of our portfolios. We've had other ones that did a lot better than this even. But if you can see here, basically we did last year 53%, right? Versus the S&P 500, which only did 17% over that year. It was a big dip, and we were able to make it through that dip and still make quite a bit of money. So this is kind of our, a little bit about our portfolio. And again, we manage a few. So some of the other ones are actually doing even better. We have a Q&A here. How much can I make from a one trading algorithm? So let me show you a few algorithms that we have here that can give you some pretty good returns, right? There's a few here that I do recommend, using. I think they'd make you some good money. But the real kicker comes from you being able to come up with some of your own strategies. Like some of these strategies from our past students are making some good money. I know some of our, not to talk too much about this sort of thing, but I know some people that are making, some good returns. There's legal things around this. I don't want to talk too much about it, but there's definitely some good opportunities here. Okay, so tools that we'll be using. So we're going to be using Alpaca as our broker. We're currently adding in additional brokers as well. Interactive Brokers is one they're adding in. We're also adding a lot of crypto exchanges, right? We're going to be using Python, Pandas, which is, again, data science. And then we're going to be using Visual Studio Code to show off our code. So for those of you that do know how to code and you're familiar with all this stuff, you can check out our open source library here. So we're not BSing. This is also something that we use throughout the course. There's a Q&A here. Will the back testing work for the crypto? We plan on making it work, yes. We plan on making crypto back testing work. We're not there yet. It'll take us a few months before we have that built into Lumibot, but we could show you how to do this manually. So if you're interested in backtesting crypto, it's really not that difficult to actually set all that up. So if that's something you're interested in, then we can definitely help you with that. Okay, so this is our open source code, open source platform called Lumibot. This is an active development. I believe we're getting to a point where pretty soon we'll probably be the best open source software in the world for doing back testing and trading. There used to be another company called Quantopian that I think just got acquired by Robinhood. And there's another one called Backtrader, but they haven't really been doing anything with their platform. So we're the fastest growing and hopefully very soon being the top in the world. I can tell you our features are very good and there's a lot of really good technology that we have in here. If you guys go to our GitHub, make sure that you watch and star us as well, right? Click that watch button, click that star button. And it's because we do a lot of updates, right? We update our software quite often. So it's good for you guys to be able to get that update so you can get the latest versions. But yeah, so this is our open source software. Basically, it makes it really easy for you guys to create your own bots, right? So you're not starting from scratch. You're not, connecting to individual brokers or anything like that. We make it so that you can create a strategy, back test it, and then automatically go into trading seamlessly, right? So, and I'll actually show you some demos of this in a second, but it's because of this library, right? This is the library that allows you to do that sort of thing. And there's some instructions here. You guys can feel free to play around with it and try to get it up and running. Throughout the course, we teach you not only how to use Lumibot to its fullest, but we also teach you all the background behind it, how to do the research, how to figure out what strategies are going to work, which ones aren't, then how to actually get everything up and running. And we walk you through everything. So this is our technology, Lumibot, and that's what I'm going to show you in our code. There's a bunch of example strategies in there. It's pretty easy to add in data sources, add in your own brokers, and it's easy to add your own strategy, and then back testing is automatically included. So it's all about just making this very, very easy for you guys. Easy to create your own strategies, easy to back test things, and then easy to take that same back test and run it live. So we really want to make it as simple for you as possible. Okay. Okay. So now let's get into the demo, right? There's always the fun part and what I think you guys have been waiting for. So hold on. There's a question here. Would we be able to integrate with other brokers such as Fidelity? So it depends on the broker, right? So not every broker allows you to connect to it through an API, right? So some of the better ones are Interactive Brokers, TD Ameritrade, Alpaca, right? Those are some of the best brokers when it comes to APIs. Not all of them have API access. So with Fidelity, you wouldn't be able to do algorithmic trading at all, right? They don't allow it. They don't give you access to that sort of thing. So so some brokers are better than others. By the way, I'd highly recommend using Interactive Brokers. They're fantastic to use, or Alpaca. Alpaca, this right here, free trades, great API, very easy to get up and running. It's kind of like Robinhood, but for APIs, right? Okay, so that's about the brokers. To get back into the presentation, so in the course, we're going to be going through a lot more stuff. So this is us showing you a couple of these trading strategies working. It's kind of like this is actually partly what we teach in some of our classes, specifically how to build these. But in the course, we go through a lot more. We teach you the fundamentals behind this. We teach you how to research this stuff, and we teach you how to build your own strategies and really walk you through it. All right. So these are the strategies we're going to go over. We'll go over momentum, intraday momentum, diversification, debt trading, and technical analysis. And I'll walk you through each one individually. Okay. So first of all, let me open up the broker here. Okay. So I got the broker up and running. And then I'm going to pull out the code. And let's start off with some of the simpler strategies, right? So let's open this up here. Day 10. There you go. Okay. And close all this stuff. This is actually, I was just teaching a class on this yesterday, specifically going through this. So, okay, cool. So let's open this up and let's go through our momentum strategy. Okay. So this strategy, basically what it does, and to be honest with you, I don't know if it's the greatest thing to be using in real life, but it's something that's quite easy to get started with and explain the concept pretty easily. Basically what it does is it looks at three different assets, right? So in this case, we have SPY, VEU, and AGG, okay? I'm actually gonna run this now in the background so we save a little bit of time. I'm gonna run this. It takes those three assets, right? And then basically says which one has been doing the best over the past 2 days, and then picks that one and runs with it. This is basically momentum strategy. So which one has been doing the best, and let's buy that and let's keep going, okay? So what I just did there is I just ran this strategy, okay? Running a strategy, this is the code for it. It's not a lot of code. It's quite easy to put together something like this, right? This isn't even the code that's running it. So if we close that up, this is all the code that's involved. It's like 100 lines of code or something. It's very, very simple to build something like this using our technology. I ran that strategy, and basically what I did is I first of all ran it through a back test, right? So I back tested the strategy over this time period, 2018 to 2019, okay? And if we had ran this strategy over that time period, we would have made a 7.5% return, and that compares to S&P 500, which did a negative 3% return that year. So we beat the stock market by 10% in that year, with a lower volatility, right? So less risk taking, and which means a higher Sharpe ratio as well, right? Compare that to S&P 500. Also, we would have had a max drawdown, so meaning the biggest loss that we would have only been 9% versus the S&P 500, which that year lost 19% almost in that 1 year, right? So the back test works out very well for that 1 year. We could change the years, but just picking a year at random, right? And then once we have that going, we were actually able to run the strategy. So when we bounce back to here, our Alpaca, our broker, you can see that it automatically bought SPY, right? I didn't touch anything. It was the algorithm automatically doing this for us, okay? And why did it choose SPY? Well, it says here, SPY over the past 1 day had a 0.95% return versus VEU, which had a 0.78% return versus AGG, which had a 0.051. So SPY is doing the best. So we just bought that going with the momentum. That's it, right? Okay, so that's the one strategy. Momentum strategy is something that people are pretty interested in. Here's the fun one that we can do. Let's do an intraday momentum strategy, right? Because I know a lot of people are interested in this kind of stuff. Having bots that automatically will buy and sell throughout the day, right? So what this strategy does, I'm going to run it now, and you'll see here, when I stop the other strategy, this is going to disappear in a second. It takes a second to refresh, right? But okay, there you go. So it already did it automatically. Okay, so you see that sold SPY and it bought GLD, right? Because we stopped the other strategy and we started this new one, okay? So this new strategy, intraday momentum, bought GLD, okay? And GLD is doing actually quite well today. This is fantastic. Makes sense that it bought it. So our intraday momentum strategy is very similar to our momentum strategy, where it's looking for the best performing asset and just buying that one, right? In this case, the reason why I bought gold is because over the past 2 minutes, it was about flat, whereas the other ones that we're monitoring, so you can go in here and you can see all the ones that we monitor. We monitor SPY, GLD, TLT, Microsoft, and Tesla. Okay? And over this time period, over the past 2 minutes, GLD has been outperforming, right? The other ones are down. Microsoft, Tesla are down. TLT is down. Gold remained flat, so it automatically bought us gold. Okay, so it ran that scan again. Sometimes we have to run this for a little while. It ran a scan again for these 2 minutes and determined again gold is still the best because it's the only one that's not falling. It seems like the market is falling in the past 2 minutes, and gold is the only one that is not falling. So it's still waiting for that. So we'll keep this going, right? And you'll see that it will trade for you automatically throughout the day. It'll keep measuring this, keep monitoring this, and keep trading based on this new information that keeps coming out, right? So imagine this: we're doing this for momentum, something very simple, looking at the price changes. But we could just as easily use something like technical analysis, right? We could trade based off of average true range is one thing that I know people have brought up before. We could trade off of, there we go. You see it switched automatically. See that gold switched over to Microsoft automatically. And we'll be doing this for us the entire day, right? We're doing this again off momentum. We could easily do this off of RSI. We could do this off average true range. We could do this off of Bollinger Bands, right? It can automatically be trading like this for us throughout the day. And it can also automatically trade off of like financials or news that comes out. So we could be monitoring, the Reddit forums, and if there's a stock that's trending on Reddit, we could automatically buy that. There's a lot of stuff that we could do with these different types of strategies, right? Cool. So there we go. So that's our intraday momentum. That one's a fun one to watch because it does a lot of stuff throughout the day, right? Okay, so let's stop this, right? So when I stop that strategy, it automatically sold it, right? Okay, so we have a question here. So let me check this out. Elon's Twitter like Dogecoin. Yeah, exactly. That's definitely one thing that we can do with these bots is we could be monitoring people's Twitter accounts, right? Like Elon Musk Twitter moves the market, just monitor his Twitter account and see what he tweeted about, and then automatically buy that. I actually want to even build a bot to demonstrate to you guys how to do that sort of thing, because it's actually very cool being able to trade things like that intraday, right? Okay, cool. So that's our intraday momentum strategy. Okay, let's show you some other ones. I'll show you some ones that actually are probably pretty good strategies to be investing in. I'm not an investment advisor, so that's that disclaimer there. But some of these strategies are actually like quite cool and they work quite well. So let's talk about 3 of them, right? So let's talk about one that I really like and maybe I think doesn't get enough credit, right? It's a diversification strategy. Okay, people tend to be very biased towards making these like huge returns or whatever, and that's great, and I think that's amazing, and we can definitely do that. But sound investment principles is hard to beat, right? So this is something that Ray Dalio, person who runs. We have a Q&A here. Hold on 1 second. Does Schwab allow API trades? Not that I know of. I don't believe they do. So honestly, top brokers, TD Ameritrade, Interactive Brokers, Alpaca. These are the top guys in the room when it comes to API trading. Right? There's a few more, but those are kind of the top 3. Right? Okay. So back to the strategy. Diversification strategy. And by the way, it's very simple to switch brokers too if you need to. Right? Opening an account with Alpaca takes like 5 minutes. Literally, I could walk you through a process. But anyways, and we can trade more than that. We could trade also crypto and other things. And trading with Interactive Brokers, for example, allows you to like back test option strategies and like paper trade options. So it's like there's like really cool features that some of these brokers come with, specifically for APIs. But anyways, going back to our strategies. Okay, let me run actually even the back test here, because it does take a little bit of time. I'm going to be back testing this for 11 years, from 2010 to 2021. And we're going to run this back test. Okay. And again, this is a strategy that doesn't get a lot of love, but I think it should. And this is basically what is recommended by Ray Dalio, easily one of the best investors in the world, right? What he recommends is that you have your assets diversified across 5 different, let's say, asset classes, right? Stocks, right? So represented by SPY or the S&P 500, TLT, represented by, which is long-term bonds, right? IEF, which are intermediate term bonds, gold, right, which is gold, and then commodities, right, which is, corn and livestock and that sort of thing. And by the way, commodities have been doing very well lately, especially with all these inflation concerns, right? So Ray Dalio recommends a portfolio like this and specifically split up at 30% into stocks, 40% to long-term bonds, 15% to intermediate, 7.5% to gold, and 7.5% into a basket of commodities, okay? And he recommends this because it's a way of reducing your risk without taking away too much return, right? And if you want to increase your return, you could actually even leverage this because it's such a low risk strategy. You could actually leverage parts of this portfolio and actually make really, really good returns, right? And I could tell you one of the reasons why we did very well over the past year is because we follow this type of strategy so that when crazy things do happen, we can actually even adjust the percentages. So that's kind of like what we did last year was we had this sort of strategy is really well diversified. And then the market crashes, right? And now we have a ton of cash and we're able to go out and start buying a bunch of tech stocks. And that's how we bought. And that's how we ended up making a ton of money last year. But here, this is the strategy. We just back tested it, right? You see that over that time period that we talked about from 2010 January to 2021, we see a return in this strategy of 11%, okay? A volatility of only 6% or 6.9, so it's very, very low volatility, which gives us a very high Sharpe ratio, right? And also our max loss is very, very low at 13%. You compare that to S&P 500, yes, S&P 500 made more money, but if we had been in S&P 500, we would have had much higher volatility and a much higher chance of loss, which means that we could have taken our strategy, leveraged it using something like options or futures or margin or something else, and we could have actually made a very, very good return. We could have beaten the S&P 500 quite easily. And we're working on some back testing for options, so I'll even be able to show you that quite soon, how you can actually leverage this type of thing, right? Does your algorithm buy shorts? You can short sell if you want. Yeah, if you want to do short selling, you could definitely do that. There's risks that come with it, as you have seen through GameStop. A lot of shorts got burned pretty badly. But if you want to do short selling, you can do that as well. Right? And then so that was the back test. And let's show you basically what I did is I just ran the algorithm, it back tested it, and it automatically bought all these for me. So it took a $50,000 budget and basically just split it up between all these stocks, or stocks and other assets, right? And automatically bought that ratio of everything that we're talking about, right? So this is a very well diversified strategy. This is something that's going to very consistently make you money year after year. So you might want to put in, and I had a discussion with one of our students yesterday about this. It would be smart to put maybe like 80% of your money into this and then 20% of your money into like other crazy strategies or trying to like trade off of Twitter or, some higher leverage thing or whatever. It'd be very smart for you to manage your money in that kind of way, right? So again, it took $50,000, automatically split it up. If you leave this thing running, and this is what we do, we just leave it running in a server, it automatically will just rebalance every day, right? So say, okay, well, we made a lot of money in S&P 500 yesterday, so let's sell a little bit of that and let's put it into the other ones. Will automatically rebalance daily, or you can even set it up to literally one number here. This rebalances every day. This rebalances every 30 days. This rebalances every 100 days, right? So if you want to save on trading costs and all that, you can change that period. It's very easy. Okay. So that's a strategy. I don't think it gets enough love. I think it's a very good strategy for if you know how to leverage your returns, if you know how to take advantage of that kind of stability that you're on, right? Okay, cool. So that was that strategy. That's diversification. Let's now show you our debt trading strategy. Okay, so this strategy works on macroeconomics. Okay, and again, let me run this back test because it takes a little bit of time and I want to be mindful of you guys' time. So I'm going to start this and it's going to start back testing it. Again, same time period, 2010 to 2021, right? We could do a little bit earlier, but some of these symbols, they don't exist from back then. Let's see, what did I do here? Quandle, uh-oh. We went over our amount for Quandle. So this is probably because I was using it a lot yesterday. Let's try to run it again and see if it lets me in. I might not be able to show you the back test for this one, guys, because Quandle kind of just doesn't want me to hit their servers so many times. Okay, so I won't be able to show you the back test, but I could show you it actually running and I could talk about it a little bit. So for debt trading, basically what we're doing is we are keeping our money normally in a kind of like what most investment advisors will say to do, right? Is they will say be 60% stocks, 40% bonds. So we'll normally be in that ratio, 60% SPY, 40% TLT, okay? And then basically we'll be paying attention to the debt ratio in the economy, right? So for example, lately we've had a lot of debt being added on by the US government, right? All these trillions of dollars of spending, so much money going out. So you'll start seeing the debt to GDP ratio go up in the United States. And when it goes up by more than 15%, what we're going to do is we're going to switch from being 60-40 to being 100% to stocks, okay? And basically there's a lot of research behind this. If you go through a class, actually, I spent an entire class kind of analyzing the strategy, and I'll show you exactly how this came about and how you could even find your own like this, right? But basically, there's a lot of good research behind it and a lot of good fundamentals behind it. I could show you all the stats and how this compares and how this correlates and whatnot. But also makes logical sense if you think about it. When the government is spending a ton of money, that money needs to go somewhere, right? And it's most likely going to go into stocks because people are going to be buying more things, because people are going to be investing in these stocks. So the stock market tends to go up in those type of situations. And also bonds, they don't tend to do very well, right? Because they have to borrow from somewhere, right? And if you're borrowing from somewhere, you don't tend to, these bonds, they don't tend to do very well, right? It's like if you had someone who is a mortgage lender, right? And then you all of a sudden took out 100 more mortgages, you're not feeling so hot as a mortgage lender, right? So that's kind of what this strategy does. It's like, if the government's spending a lot of money, buy stocks, sell your bonds, right? And then otherwise be in a 60-40 stock to bond ratio, right? I can't show you the back test right now, unfortunately, because Quandle, I used it too much over the past day, because we're using it quite a bit in class yesterday. But I could tell you that the back test results are actually very good. We beat the stock market by about 2%. And not only do we beat the stock market by about 2%, but we also have a much lower volatility, meaning we have a higher Sharpe ratio, meaning we can leverage this a little bit. And it means that also we're sleeping better at night. Our max loss is much less, right? So we're making more money than the stock market and taking on less risk. So fantastic strategy. I wish I could show you the back test, but another time, or you guys can watch past videos and you'll see it too. We have a question here. Can you go over one sample strategy's code in detail? Sure, no problem. I'll go over the next strategy in more detail. Okay, so let me first run this. This is technical analysis. So I'm going to run technical analysis. Okay, and this is the strategy here. Okay, so the technical analysis strategy. This is probably one that a lot of you guys are interested in. Basically, what it does is it does the same sort of thing as the debt trading, 60-40 default, right? So 60% stocks, 40% bonds by default, okay? And then we're monitoring an indicator called RSI, which, if you guys are not familiar, RSI kind of tells you if something's overbought or oversold, right? And it's kind of just, it's tracking how quickly prices have gone up versus the past, right? Essentially, it's kind of what it does. And when you have a low RSI, that means that probably things are oversold, right? And if you have a high RSI, it means that things are probably overbought, right? So we're paying attention to that. So specifically, we made the strategy. So, and you guys can play around with this pretty easily. If it's above 66 RSI, then, so default, we have 60-40 stocks and bonds. If it's above 66, the RSI, then we sell all of our stocks and only go into bonds. and then we wait until it comes back down. Or if there's, if it goes below 33, right? If it goes below, it means it's oversold, right? So that means that we sell all of our bonds and go 100% into stocks, right? So we're 60-40 normally, and then we're deciding, are we going to go all into stocks or all into bonds, depending on what's happening in the stock market based on the RSI. Okay, that's what we're doing. This strategy comes out really good. Again, we beat the stock market by about 2%, which is really nice. 2% adds up to a lot in the long run. But not only do we do that, but we also do it with less risk, right? So lower volatility. So 18% returns versus 16% returns, 14% volatility versus 17.5. Our max loss, which is very important, the most amount of money that we lost was quite a bit less. We only lost 20% at the worst case scenario versus S&P 500, which lost 33%, right? So we're performing quite well. Not only are we making more money, but we're taking on less risk. And if we wanted to even take a little bit of leverage, we could probably do something like, 25% returns using this strategy if we added in a little bit of leverage, right? And then you wanted me to go through the code. So let me go through the code a little bit, how it works. Basically, the way that Lumibot works is everything is broken down into what we call, what are these called again? They're basically like methods that get run on a regular basis. It works a lot like React, right? If you guys are familiar with the way that React works, we built ours very, very similarly, right? So we have kind of main methods that get called throughout. So we have our on trading iteration, which is the main thing. This thing gets run every like 1 minute or 2 minutes or whatnot. And this is our main logic in here, okay? We have our initialize, which basically sets everything up, right? So this allows us to put in specific parameters for these strategies, right? We have the different parameters for lower threshold, upper threshold, which symbols are we trading, right? And then we kind of just set everything up. Sleep time, this basically just sleeps, so it executes every 1 minute, right? So it runs the on trading iteration every 1 minute, okay? And then, so the on trading iteration, so let me, and then, okay, so I guess we have that. We have our initialize, we have our on trading iteration. We have our trace stats, which helps us figure out kind of like what the strategy is doing. So we have a little bit of logs behind it so we can diagnose what's going on. And then we have our on abrupt closing, which kind of just says when we want to exit, just sell everything, right? Kind of makes it pretty easy for us to do that. And then to walk you through kind of like the way the strategy actually works, the strategy is pretty simple too, okay? So this one, we basically have like if statements, right? So we go in, we get our symbol, right? Then we get the RSI for the symbol, which is down here. So using a TA library, it's pretty simple code. Get the RSI for the S&P 500, okay? And then we check, is that RSI below our threshold or is it above our threshold, right? And basically based off of that, if it's below our threshold, we sell everything and we only buy, in this case, our main symbol. So we figure out the price, we figure out the quantity, then we create an order and we submit the order, okay? And then if, and that's the case if it's lower than that lower threshold. If it's higher than that threshold, we do this basically, this code is basically the same here, right? We sell all, right? We figure out the current price, we figure out the quantity, we build our order and we submit it, right? Pretty simple. And then in the case where neither of those are true, we're somewhere in the middle, then again, we sell all and we'll buy a percentage of each one, right? So we'll buy 60% times the main symbol, right? This is the main symbol percentage, 60%, and 1 minus 60%, which is 40% of the other symbol. So 60% of one symbol, we submit that order, and 40% of the other symbol, we submit the order. And that's it. And that's basically the entire strategy. So it's really easy for you guys to build this type of code. For those of you that don't know how to code and you just saw that and it looks like, oh my goodness, it looks crazy. Believe me, once you've gone through this, we have a lot of people that are actually building algorithms doing this sort of thing. So don't feel intimidated by the code. We'll show you how to do this kind of code and we'll walk you through it really step by step to show you how to build this sort of thing yourself. All right. Cool. Okay. So that's all of our strategies. Oh, and let me show you actually in Alpaca what it's doing. Because we did the back test, but let's actually show that the bot's working. There we go. So right now, this strategy is recommending get out of the stock market. It seems to be overbought according to RSI, and it's recommending to just be in bonds, don't be in stocks. That's what's recommending currently, right? And it actually made that trade for us. And if we run this thing, if we just keep this thing up and running in our servers, it's automatically going to be buying these different things, right? It's going to automatically say, okay, RSI is back down now. Let's go back to 60-40. Or if the stock market drops like crazy, it will go 100% into stock market so we can like get those returns back up. Kind of like what we did in March, right, of last year. The stock market drops, that's the perfect time to get in, right? And this strategy does that sort of thing automatically for you, right? Cool. Okay, so that's all of our strategies there. You guys have been asking questions throughout, so that's great. But here's a forum for you guys for, you know, what other questions do you guys have for me? How else can I help you and help you get to a point where you're building some great algorithms yourselves and you guys are making some good money? Because that's what we're all about. You know, that's what our company's all about, and I want to help you guys out with that. So let me know what are some questions you guys have, and how can I help you guys out? And again, you guys can type into either Q&A or you could type into the chat. All right, okay, so we got one question here in the Q&A. Okay. So Gary says, what advantages does this have over TradeStation? So TradeStation, I believe they use their own code within their own platform. You're not going to be as flexible with it. You're not going to be able to do, like, for example, the machine learning stuff. You're not going to be able to do. You're not going to be able to pull from a lot of different sources. This is a lot more flexible than what you could do in TradeStation, right? So a lot of different things, and not to mention, you're also not tied to a single broker, and you could trade different asset classes, right? So you could trade crypto as well as stocks, right? And you could use machine learning as well as any of the common stuff, right? So it gives you a lot more flexibility in terms of brokers, gives you a lot more flexibility in terms of assets, gives you a lot more flexibility in terms of the actual types of strategies you could deploy, right? So that's how we compare against them. Okay, we got another one here. We got a chat here. You talk about Lumibot. Is this not Python? Yes, Lumibot is built in Python. That is accurate. Right, and I know some people have questions around Python and its speed. Believe me, Python is quite fast, especially the way we've built it. You can optimize Python quite well, right? And Python also allows you to really easily build out strategies, right? So a lot of these other things we'll use like C# or something like that. It's a lot harder to build those strategies. And to be honest with you, a lot of times you don't need the speed. The speed is usually not the thing that distinguishes you. If you want to build an algorithm that is incredibly, incredibly fast, then what you need to do is you need to buy a server next to the New York Stock Exchange. And that's going to cost you something like $100 million if you want to really have a fast algorithm. But other than that, you don't really need to have like these fractions of a second are not going to make that big of a difference. And between you trading manually and you trading with Python code or anything else, you know, we're talking about you trading manually. It might take you minutes or hours to make a decision, whereas this algorithm can do it in fractions of a second, right? Can you give an example of how is machine learning being used here? So none of these strategies use machine learning. You know, we have a separate machine learning class that goes into that. This class is not about machine learning, right? However, you can actually take a lot of these strategies and use machine learning within them, right? So none of these strategies are demonstrating that, and we have a course that is specifically on machine learning. So if that's something you're interested in, we do have bundles for this class and the machine learning class together. And the machine learning class is taught by a very, very intelligent individual who actually builds out machine learning algorithms for hedge funds and things like that. And the returns that he gets are quite spectacular. So let me show you that class really quickly, because it is quite a great class, and he is a very, very intelligent individual. I actually sit on these classes as well, and I learn things from him. Greg is definitely a very intelligent guy. This is our machine learning class, right? Similar kind of thing. We have all the three different plans: self-directed, live classes, and the project help tutoring, right? This is the pricing for them. We have where you can buy the classes together, right? You can buy the live of one and the self-directed of the other, or you can buy both live. These are all popular plans. I can tell you a lot of people are buying this one right here. They'll buy self-directed algo trading and they'll buy machine learning live. So you learn how to build your algorithms, then you also learn how to give them a lot of like smarts behind it, the machine learning aspect of it. Okay. Because explaining a little bit about the course, there's a curriculum, right? It's an 8-week long curriculum. The next one's starting in June, right? And you could also read a little bit about Greg Tanaka. This is him. This is the guy that's teaching in class. He's a very, very smart individual. And kind of 2 projects that you do throughout is you forecast stock prices using a machine learning, right? So it's like a stock forecasting thing. And then they also use machine learning to trade on the news, right? So reading like Reddit and things like that, and automatically getting sentiment and like really advanced kind of machine learning stuff there, right? So that's the machine learning course if that's something that you're interested in. All right, okay. We got another question here. So in the chat, so you need Lumibot. You can't program it in just Python. Yeah, I mean, if you want to build it from scratch, you can definitely build it in scratch. And we show you how to do that. I would highly recommend that you use a library. I mean, whether it's Lumibot or something else, I'd highly recommend that you use a library for your trading. Just because doing it from scratch is, oh my goodness. We put in a lot of hours to build out Lumibot to really make it easier for you. You know, I want you to be able to get an algorithm up and running in, a couple hours as opposed to like months, right? So that's why Lumibot is very valuable. It really saves you a lot of time. And instead of focusing on how to connect the brokers and like silly things like that, and how to backtest, like we've already done all that for you. So you can just focus on what is the strategy that you want to trade, right? So you can focus on making money as opposed to making tons of code. So that's what Lumibot is. It's saving you a lot of that time, right? Really is making your life easier. Focus on making cash. Let's focus on actual trading returns and strategies as opposed to building out everything from scratch, right? Cool. Hopefully I answer your question. Any other questions, guys? Keep them coming. Chat. Can the MACD be used as a technical analysis as a strategy? Absolutely. And actually, if you join our course, I could even show you like live in one of our classes. It'll take a few minutes. So I'm not going to do it right now, but it's very easy to modify this specific strategy here to go from, instead of RSI, to be off MACD, right? All you need to do is, instead of running get RSI, you run get MACD, and it's like, look at this, it's like 3 lines of code, just modify that, change your if statements to trade on different things. It's very easy for you to build out a MACD strategy. Definitely. Good question. Thank you. Cool. Keep them coming, guys. Anything else? It's been a great group. Actually, I love this. You guys are you're asking lots of questions, very interactive. I think it's great. Has anyone programmed a bot to do delta hedging? Delta hedging, if I remember, I don't remember what the strategy is exactly. The answer is no. No one's built a delta hedging strategy yet. From what I remember, I believe that's using options to trade, if I'm correct. We can build out a lot of these strategies, things like this. They're actually pretty simple to build, right? And we could definitely help you build out something like that. Yeah. So are your bots able to access option data, including price and delta? Yeah. So it is an options trading strategy. Yeah. So right now we're building out options trading capabilities into Lumibot. Last time I checked, we are probably about a week away from having that capability. So if you sign up for our May class, then absolutely you'll be able to do that, right? Basically, we're using interactive brokers to make the trades. And the reason why we're using interactive brokers is because they allow paper trading for options through APIs, which is very rare. Like almost no broker has that. So you can actually build out an algorithm, and then you can test it in paper before you actually test it live, right? So the answer is yes. You could definitely build a delta hedging strategy, and we're adding in options trading capabilities into ours. We're going to be adding in also back testing for options. We're adding in paper trading for options. The entire course isn't built around that, but Lumibot will have that capability, and you will be able to do that sort of thing very shortly. Right? Cool. If I'm an IRA, can I deploy bots across client accounts and interactive brokers? Absolutely. Absolutely, you could do that. And I think that's actually very cool. And if that's something that you want to do, maybe you could actually even set up a call with me, and I'd love to actually walk you through that, because maybe there's some things that we could do to make this even easier for you, like set up like a cloud infrastructure and things like that. So absolutely, that is something that you can do, and we can help you out with that. That's a very cool idea, by the way. I like that. So absolutely, you could do that. Interactive brokers really makes it quite easy too. They allow you to manage other people's accounts throughout there. They have like really good things around permissions, right? If you're running this for a bunch of clients, then you'll probably want to host this on a cloud somewhere. And we're actually building out the capabilities to make that quite easy. So you'll be able to do that for sure. Cool question. Thank you. Right. Any other questions? You guys have been keeping them coming. This is fantastic. So again, this class starts very soon. The next class starts in about 2 weeks. So make sure that you guys sign up. Like I want to make sure you guys actually get these spots because again, we want to keep our class sizes small. So make sure you sign up so you actually get your spot. And let's get you in there. Let's get you building these bots. Let's get you guys making some money, you know? Q&A. Can this bot be used for crypto assets with an API from a brokerage like Voyager? I actually used to work at Voyager. That's great. Yeah, I mean, so Voyager doesn't have an API, right? But a lot of other crypto brokers do. And let me show you actually what we're building out. CCXT. This is what we're going to be using for our crypto, right? Which allows us to connect to a lot of different brokerages, right? So it allows us to connect to, let's go through a couple of these. Kraken, it's a big one. FTI, I don't even know a couple of these. Certified crypto, AAX, you know. Other ones here, we have Bitfinex, we have BitMEX, we have Bittrex. There's so many, it's ridiculous how many exchanges there are. Coinbase, right? Coinbase Pro, we could do that. You know, basically any of these exchanges. This is what we're at. This is the capability that we're adding into Lumibot. This is going to be a little bit, maybe like a month or two out before we have this capability, but those are all the exchanges that we're setting up. I'm your Voyager, eToro, and Celsius customer. Very cool. Very cool. Like I said earlier today, I was employee number 5 at Voyager. So very proud to hear that someone else is on there. I'm hearing more and more clients on there. I think that's great. Yeah, it's a fantastic company. I mean, we helped build it, right? So thank you for using Voyager. I actually need to talk to the CEO. I reached out to him recently. I want Voyager to make their API public so we can actually integrate with them. Because I would love to do that. It's a company that I helped create, and I really want to add on to what we're doing here right now as well. They have an API, but it's just not public. Believe me, I built the docs for it. You know? Cool. Do certain brokers limit API calls? Yeah, there's always some sort of limits around API calls for brokers. And that's because they don't want you flooding them like crazy, right? But they tend to be quite lenient, right? You know, Quandle, we saw earlier today, Quandle kind of shut me off. They're a little bit more stingy on that kind of stuff. But the brokers, they want you to trade, right? So their limits are usually quite good, right? And then, you know, I can tell you, so the limits are usually pretty good. Getting data sometimes can be a little tricky, right? Just because data is kind of the thing that gets held in vaults usually. But the advantage is that in this day and age, a lot of data you can actually get for free, and you can deal with all sorts of cool stuff. So yeah, so to answer your question, they do have limits on their API calls, but they're usually pretty good about them. Okay. Q&A. How do I know which strategy do I use? Will the back testing help for that? Like day trading, position trading, swing trading, scalp, etc. Yeah, so that's exactly what back testing is for, right? So you're going to build out your strategy, and then you're going to back test it to find out, is this something that will work? And then you're going to run your strategy paper trading, make sure it's all working properly, making sure that it's actually working properly, and then you're going to make it go live. That's how you're going to figure out if your strategy is going to work or not. There's a process behind it, right? You do your research first, see how everything goes there, then you back test it, make sure the back testing works out well, right? And there's different techniques around this that we could walk you through. And then you paper trade it, make sure everything's working well, test it overnight, test it day to day, make sure everything's, you know, there's no any issues or any bugs in your code. And once that's all good, that's when you make it go live, right? So that's how you're going to find out which trading strategy you should use and which one is most appropriate for what you're doing, right? Cool, great questions, guys. This is fantastic. Any other questions? Sounds awesome. Great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, this is definitely very cool stuff. I hope to see you guys in our classes. You know, every single time we do the class, it keeps getting better and better, right? So thank you. Thank you. Every time we do our class, it keeps getting better and better. Our technology keeps improving. We have 3 developers working on our Lumibot now. We keep improving our course itself because we learn every single time what are pitfalls people fall into, and we want to get as many people as possible coming out and having like profitable bots at the end of this, right? And then also what we're doing again is we're building out even like cloud infrastructure behind this, so that even once you have your bot going, we want to have you being able, like we're going to be doing like demo day pretty soon, where people can demonstrate their trading algorithms, and then investors will come in and actually say, do I want to invest in this trading strategy or not? So we're going to be doing stuff like that soon. We're going to put together a marketplace where if you built out a trading algorithm, you put it up on our website, and you can actually buy that trading algorithm and invest in it, that sort of thing. Or if you built it, then you can actually get commission from other people using your algorithms. So we're building a whole community around this, right? So not only is it about the courses, but we're building out a lot of other really cool stuff down the road as well. So I hope to see you guys in the classes. I think this is very cool stuff. Obviously, I love doing this sort of thing. And again, they're coming up very soon. The May class is starting in 2 weeks. So make sure that you sign up so you can actually get a spot there, because they do fill up quite quickly. All right. Okay, we got one more question here. Amazing to see that you built this company and code all by yourself. That's awesome. Thank you very much, Gary. I appreciate it. You know, a lot of this code, by the way, it's not just me. Like we've grown as a company, right? You know, so we have like a development team that's helping out with everything. We have, you know, we've really grown a lot, and that's because of you guys. You know, we've seen, you know, some great demand from our customers, and that's you know, the way I believe in it is if we can do right by our customers, if we could help you guys out, then it comes around full circle, right? And that's what I believe in, right? So thank you very much, Gary. I appreciate that. It's great. Cool. And any other questions before I leave you guys for the day? If you guys have any questions, any further ones, you could also book a call with one of our reps. You just go at the bottom here. You go book a call. So you can book a call with these guys. Yeah. They can walk you through a lot of different questions that you guys will have. And then, yeah, hopefully, thank you very much. Great person. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Sean. So again, thank you guys very much for your time. And again, I hope to see you guys in the classes. Thank you very much. Hope you have a great day. Bye. Have a good one. Very excited. Sign up for April class. Awesome. Gonna see you in April. It's fantastic. All right. Later, guys. Have a good one.